Good morning. All action today. I feel like I'm in action mode. So what did I do? When I feel like I'm in action mode, I went on to wolfman.app, my new website. I filled out my intention for the day. And actually, I cheated a little bit because I've got an intention for 2 days. So the last 4 days I've spent with family, friends. Have I spent any time with friends? Probably not actually, but definitely family, which is great for an Easter weekend. And now I've got another 2 days off from work, and I will be spending that time with myself. And I will be, well, this is what I put in my intention for the day. My intention is to spend the next 48 hours absorbing sunlight with exercise, so combining those two things together. Cleaning up. It's amazing how untidy things get, how quickly things get untidy. Oh, it's just like it is a never-ending cycle, isn't it, of tidying up. And I suppose it's good because it's forced downtime. And actually that brings me on to the third thing that I'll be focusing on. Morning, sheep. The third thing that I'll be focusing on is website refinement. Not just refinement, new features. So I'll review where I'm at with the site. What do I want to... Oh, look at all these sheepies. Hey, sheep! Bah! Bah! Pretty cool. Yeah, I'll be reviewing where I'm at with the site. And applying some new features, some fixes. Fix some bugs, fix some features. Hey, sheep! And just have a bit of fun with it over the next 48 hours. And the good thing is, I've been toying with the idea of buying more tokens so I can do more work. And if you don't know what tokens are, just think of it as like the amount of effort that you can ask an AI agent to do, and then you hit limits. And I'm using Claude with Claude Code to build the site, which has been amazing so far. I could talk and talk and talk for hours and hours and hours, and I'm sure I will, about the workflow that you use with Claude Code to build systems like this. Websites, systems, I suppose it's a bit of both, depending on how you categorise a system. Those little lambs, it's a really cool workflow anyway. So and I'm learning every day about how best to use Claude Code. But anyway, I won't get bogged down with that right now. So the next 48 hours is going to be all about those three things: having a little tidy up, doing exercise, and refining the website, introducing new features. I've got a long list of things that I'm building or want to build, and the list is getting longer and longer and longer. Some call that scope creep. I call it just things I want to do. But what we have to get nailed down is the order of events and have key milestones. So by the end of this month, I want to get the website to a place where I can actually start testing it with people like yourself. Anyone that's interested in logging stuff, it'll be completely free. All the features will be open, even though it'll make reference to paid tiers. Everything will be free. and I'm pretty sure that what I'll do is like anyone that contributes towards testing, like as a gift, then you'll get like a free subscription to a forever subscription to the website on the unlimited tier. So I'm going to limit the amount of people though, because what I need to be really careful of is the cost of it all. And the cost is something that I'm forecasting, but you never know until people start using it, like how much it actually costs to run. Now the server costs, and then like processing data and kind of all that stuff is negligible. You know, I just absorb that into the cost of running, the cost of me using the site, the cost I'm willing to pay for just me to have the site running and for me to log my intentions and what's not. But the real cost comes in with how you use AI agents to process some information. So when you log your journals, there's an AI agent. I've called it Wolfbot. That's the kind of that's the testing AI agents at the moment. He might get rebranded, but I'm pretty down with Wolfbot because it's in theme with Wolfman, who's me. So Wolfbot, when you create a journal, and the journal will have your intentions for the day, it'll have things you want to shout about that you're great at, things that you want to show gratitude for. Oh, and by the way, this is all private, like you don't have to share any of this. The default state when you log something is that everything's private, and this is what I'm going to be testing. I'm jumping around a bit now, but this is the big thing that I'm going to be testing is security. My data policy is like going to be really strict on and really transparent for obvious reasons about what we use the data for, and it's pretty much locked it down. The only access to your data that we'll have is that I'll be sending it to the companies that or the company that I use for the AI agent, and at the moment I'm pretty sure that's going to be Claude, just because I'm all in on Claude at the moment. But I am a bit on the fence about Claude in terms of cost, because I know that there are better there are more financially kind of appealing options out there for which AI agents to use. But I'm just, because I know it and I'm getting to know it even more and more, like it's just becoming a trusted thing that I can use. Trusted in that, like I haven't used the other agents yet, so, but anyway, let's just stick with Claude. So your data, like none of your names, who you are, personal information, none of that gets sent to the AI agents. What does get sent is what scores you put, the words that you put in your journals, and then it uses that data to review your journal, basically. Like it has to have that data to review it. And this is purely optional. You don't have to use the Wolfbot function. But if you choose to use it, then that your data will get sent across and it'll use that to generate the responses in the review. So it's pretty cool with what it does, and it provides like a really fun piece of feedback on your journal and your scores and how it all ties together, and it kind of derives little insights out of the information that you might not have otherwise seen if when you're writing it or have kind of thought of. So it is a really cool function, but we do have to send some of that information to the company. But like I say, it's purely just the information that you put in the journals, and it's not like Matthew Wolfman wrote that he was sad today. It's nothing like that. It's just it's just here's the scores, 1, 2, 3, or whatever they are, and here's the journal entry. And then when you take that information in isolation, like what information can you derive from it? And it does look back at some of your historic information as well. So it builds up a picture of kind of your profile, I suppose. And the more you use it, this is where it's going to get really, really interesting. The more you use it, and the more I've been using it, it's coming out with some really interesting information, because it takes, at the moment, it just takes information from the last 5 days and it looks back at what you've been up to and then what you're doing today and builds a picture of kind of, you know, how the last few days have led to what you're up to today. Now, imagine if you've got a year's worth of data in there, but this is where technically I need to get my head around this, because and I'm going to start talking about a technical thing now. You start to hit the limits, not limits, but you start to get into the realms of context length with AI agents. So for me, running the website, I need to be careful about the cost, because the longer the input, the more the cost. So if I just dump all of your journals for the past year and you've been writing lengthy journals every day, every time it reviews the journal, it's going to be an immense cost for me, even though it would derive some really cool information about who you know, what you've been up to and kind of patterns and all this stuff. So what I need to figure out is, how do I pull out key bits of information, almost like, going to talk about like database talk now, almost like key bits of information that we can use to index against your profile, and then those key bits of information are used to inform the AI agent, like each day. And then all of a sudden you're constrained on, oh, I can only like look back over the 5 days, but there was something significant that happened 10 days ago. Those constraints start to fall away if we can become more efficient at looking back at your old data. So all of a sudden then it's like, okay, we're looking at a month's worth of your information, or 2 months, or even up to a year, because we've really tidily organised that information on your account. And that's where things start to get really, really cool. And then I was having some kind of out there thoughts this morning. I'm really, really keen on looking at how my brain patterns are, like how energized I am, how racing my mind is, and I want to align it to the moon. Now, not everyone's into like astrology and the moon and that type of stuff, but I am. So I'm going to start using that information to look at trends, to say, okay, when was I like hypermanic, or when was I hyper chill? When was I low? When was I high? When was I feeling good? What's the tone of my journals? That type of stuff, and then look at where the moon was across that period, and then see if there's trends. And then it'd be like, oh, that just confirms it. When there's a full moon, I'm hypermanic. When there's a new moon, I'm super chill. And that would be a really cool bit of insight to derive from this. So yes, there we go. Where did I start with all this? So, but yeah, I need to there's all these things that I need to work through. There's so many different things. But what I need to do is just get the base functionality locked down now. Like it in its simplest form, I need to be able to log a journal, log the scores for how you showed up today, which is brain activity, stress levels, energy, and happiness. I'm not going to call it happiness, I'm going to call it something else, because happiness is like a leading and extremely subjective word. So it'll be called something else, but it's like your levels of joy or something like that. I don't know. But we can work as a community together on these things as well. God, my brain's like jumping all over the place now. And again, community. This is going to be, there's going to be a really cool aspect of this where we start to think about communities. So your instant reaction might be, I'm not sharing any of this data. But then it might be, oh, I do want to share it with my closest friends. So how do I do that? So I was thinking about having a communities function on there as well. So if you were like a super user or even just like a premium subscriber, then you could have the ability to set up your own communities. So like private or public communities that are invite only. And then you let people in, you know, it might be close friends or I don't know, like your running club or whatever it is. And then only those people can see your journals, and then you can comment on each other's journals, and you could, if someone's feeling particularly crap or just needs like a bit of a boost, or you just derive like, you could even pool your scores into like a community like feel, like how is the community today? And again, this is where we need to start, we need to think about like data protection. So we can share the data across communities. But then, yeah, I need to think about the data policy with all of this. Like I want to be able to do all of these things, but we just need to see, I need to get my head around all of the terms and conditions behind this, because it needs to be super, super transparent about if you're, let's say you're part of a community, like what does that mean in terms of like your data policy? Like how does it get shared to the other community? And like when you derive statistics and that type of stuff, if you're full private, what does that mean? What does it mean from my perspective, like as the administrator of the site and running the company? Like what can I see? Do I need to encrypt everything so I can't see anyone's scores? But then like how do we enable like site-wide statistics or anything like that? So much to think about, but it's all really, really cool and really, really fun. But again, back to locking down these ideas, queuing things up. I need to get the base functionality done, get the bare minimum, the minimum viable product, as they say, ready to ship on the 1st of May. And then I'm going to open up registrations for people to start using it. And if you would like to be a part of the testing from the 1st of May, I'd love you to be a part of it, and we can learn together, we can share ideas, we can start to log stuff, we can start to look at whatever statistics and just get feedback on how useful we think this thing is. So I'll continue to post at the moment. I'm learning every day about how, you know, how the interface works, where it's clunky, where it's not clunky, what feels good, what doesn't feel good. You know, it's like with some of these apps, you know when you use it that something feels off, that something feels clunky and something doesn't feel quite right, and it's like, this is making me feel a bit, you know, just even the way that your fingers move across the screen, and the way that like widgets work, and that the way that the app's going to work. And eventually this will become an app, by the way. So you just know when something just doesn't feel good, like the user interface, the usability, the user experience, and that's the kind of feedback that I want to get. And like I say, the payments for doing this, I don't know. We'll think about incentives to continue doing the testing, but I think like a lifetime subscription to it, well, that would be appealing if you like it, not if you don't like it. But anyway, we'll think about that another day. So thanks very much. I'll speak to you all soon. Bye bye.